doctors, let's continue. So let's go to the casual or spoken expressions. As you know, in the OET writing part, you're writing a formal letter, not informal one or semi-formal. So all the time you have to follow the formal rules of writing. So you should avoid the casual or spoken expressions and use instead of them formal expressions. Let's check these informal expressions. For example, she refused to eat solids and prefers fluids only like apple juice. Here, the informal one is like, you should use instead of like such as. For example, she refused to eat solids and prefers fluids such as apple juice. Like is informal, and you should avoid using informal expressions. Try to use the formal one. Number two, there are several measures which can be taken to reduce the risk of infection, like taking a shower in the morning, using separate towel for everyone, changing bed sheets regularly, vacuuming carpets, keeping the nails short, and washing hands. And here is the same mistake, like. Like is informal and you should avoid using like. And here you can use instead of like the word including. Including. There are several measures which can be taken to reduce the risk of infection, including taking a shower in the morning, using separate towel for everyone, and blah, 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 blah. So like is informal, try to use including. Number three, she was giving general advice for softening her stool, like changing her dietary habit, but she was non-compliant. The same mistake like is informal all the time, try to avoid like and use the word, for example, or the expression as. She was giving her general advice for softening her stool as changing her dietary habit, but she was non-compliant. So like is a casual expression, and the two commonly used formal expressions with the same meaning are such as or including. So you can use including or such as or as. The second mistake, thanks for seeing Mr. Brown. The mistake here is thanks for seeing Mr. Brown. You have to use thank you, the full expression, and instead of thanks. Thank you for seeing Mr. Brown. Thanks for arranging a home visit for this patient. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask me. Thanks is a mistake. You cannot use thanks. You have to use the full expression, thank you. Thank you. Thanks is a casual expression and should be written in full in the test. In view of the above signs and symptoms, I think she's suffering from schizophrenia. I think is informal expression, okay? You can use I believe. In view of the above signs and symptoms, I believe she's suffering from schizophrenia. I believe instead of I think. The patient's family is thinking about a reduction in her medication. The patient's family is thinking about a reduction in her medication. Thinking is a mistake. You can use here instead of thinking, considering. Considering. The patient's family is considering a reduction in her medication. So think is informal, and you can use believe or consider instead of think, depending on the context. Here we can use believe, and this one we can use considering. I would really appreciate your attention regarding further management of this patient. I would really. Really is informal. You cannot use really. I would very much appreciate your attention regarding further management for this patient. Or I would greatly appreciate your attention regarding further management of this patient, and so on. So really is informal or a spoken language and should be avoided in the formal writing. The next, about his dietary habits, he eats a large amount of oily and sweet food. About is informal, you cannot use about, okay? Try to use regarding. Regarding his dietary habits, he eats a large amount of oily and sweet food. If you require any other information about her condition, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you require any other information about the same mistake, about is informal, try to use regarding her condition, please do not hesitate to contact me. She had lots of pain. She had lots of pain. Lots is informal and a casual expression. Okay, you can use it in the speaking part, but try to avoid it in the writing part. So you can say she had a lot of pain. A lot of pain. She had a lot of pain. He eats lots of oily food. Here you can use large amounts of oily food. Large amounts of oily food. He eats large amounts of oily food, as lot is spoken expression and informally cannot use it in the writing part. The next, there was nothing significant in his social history. Nothing is informal. You cannot use nothing, okay? You should say there were no significant findings inherent in his social history. There were no significant findings in his social history, as nothing is more commonly a spoken expression, which is not suitable for the writing part. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you need additional information. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you need, okay? This one, you, okay? And this is, we say about this SMS language, okay? And you should avoid the SMS language in your writing. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you, right, the full pronoun, need additional information. Mr. Smith got an appointment for a follow-up visit with his general practitioner, Dr. Avril Jensen. So, got informal. You cannot use got in the writing part. Use has. Mr. Smith has an appointment for a follow-up visit with a general practitioner, Dr. Avril Jensen. The mother got sick for a few days. Got the same mistake. The mother became sick for a few days. Became instead of got. So got and get are casual expressions, and you should avoid it in your formal letters. The next one, should you have any concerns regarding them, please do not hesitate to contact me. Them. Okay? The pronoun them sounds casual here. You cannot use them. You should mention the name of them. You should have, should you have any concerns regarding Mary and her child, please do not hesitate to contact me, especially you write or you're gonna write this sentence in the conclusion, so you have to mention the name, okay? And avoid using them. At the moment, she's weak and disorientated sometimes, but severe pain has been alleviated. Here, the mistake is sometimes is informal expression. You cannot use it in the writing part, okay? And you have to use formal expression. For example, at the moment, she's weak and disorientated. At times, severe pain has been alleviated. Or you can use on occasion. On occasion. At the moment, she's weak and disorientated. On occasion, but severe pain has been alleviated. So, sorry, this one is on occasions. So you can use on occasions or at times instead of sometimes. At sometimes is informal expression and you cannot use it in your writing. This pain was exaggerated to cold and hot things. Things is a mistake. You cannot use things. تماما. This one is informal. You should use the formal expression. This pain was exaggerated to hot and cold stimuli. Okay? The next, her temperature and blood pressure were normal while pulse was elevated at 88. So I recommended that she return today for a blood test and reassessment. The mistake here is so. So is informal. You cannot use the word so, and you should use therefore. Okay? Therefore. Try to use therefore instead of so. So is a casual word. You cannot use it within a sentence, but not to start a sentence in formal writing. Replace it with therefore. Therefore, I recommended that she return today for a blood pressure and reassessment. There was evidence of poor oral hygiene, curious lesions, and active periodontal disease too. Here, the mistake is to. You should avoid using to, as to is informal, okay? And the casual expression, you should use as well instead of to. So there was evidence of poor oral hygiene, curious lesions, and active periodontal disease as well. So to is informal, avoid it, and try to use as well. Her husband was upset because she was not showing interest toward the kids. The kids. This one is informal, casual expression. You cannot use the kids. You should use children instead of it. Her husband was upset because she was not showing toward the children. Not showing, interest towards the children. Children instead of the kids. Mark's dad also suffers from this condition. Dad is informal, casual expression, so you cannot use it. Use father. Mark's father is also, Mark's father also suffers from this condition. The teacher spoke to her mom regarding the regular absences from school. The mistake here is mom is informal expression. You should use mother instead of mom. The teacher spoke to her mother regarding the regular absences from school. So the expressions dad, mom, kids are informal expressions, spoken expressions, and you cannot use spoken or informal expressions in the writing part. She had termination of pregnancy 10 years back. So the mistake here is back. You cannot use this one, is informal expression. You should use ago. She had termination of pregnancy 10 years ago. He's a regular smoker and drinker with the only relevant past history of left inguinal hernia operation 2 years ago, or 2 years back, So here the same mistake back, you should use previously, for example. Okay, so instead of back, this expression is a spoken expression, so you cannot use in the writing form or in the writing part, so you have to use the formal one, ago or previously. He had a habit of thumb sucking till the age of 5. Till is informal. Do not use till. Try to use until. Until is a formal one. Till informal. Until formal. So try to avoid till. She was so anxious. She was very anxious, as so is informal expression. Try to use the formal one, very. She was very anxious. Do not use so, try to use very. Maria has big tonsils. The mistake here is big. Big is informal. Try to avoid it and use enlarged. Enlarged. Maria has enlarged tonsils. So avoid using big and try to use enlarged, as big is informal and spoken expression, so you cannot use it in the writing part. Examination revealed that his vitals were stable and left knee was swollen without effusion. His vitals. Vitals here is a mistake. Vitals. Okay, so vitals here is incomplete expression. You cannot use in the writing part. You can use this one in the speaking part, as this is a spoken expression, but it's not suitable for the formal writing. So you have to use vital signs, the full expression, vital signs. Examination revealed that his vital signs were stable and left knee was swollen without effusion. Examination revealed normal vitals, the same mistake. Vitals is a spoken expression, and this is not the full expression, and you have to use the full expression. Examination revealed that his vital signs were normal. Mrs. Jones is a widow who complained of persistent chest pain and roughly 1.45. Okay, so the mistake here is roughly. Here, this one, you should use approximately instead of it, as roughly is informal expression, and you have to use the formal expression approximately. Miss Roberts started smoking around 6 months ago. Around is informal. You should use approximately. This one is formal. Miss Roberts started smoking approximately 6 months ago. Okay, so roughly and around are casual vague expressions, so you cannot use it in the formal part or in the writing part, and you should use the formal and the full expression. مظبوط يا دكتور، زي ما انت ما كتبت as you write بالظبط يعني، بس this one is informal. Try to change it. Okay. I recommend some investigations to rule out cancer. Some is informal. Try to avoid some. Try to use further investigations to rule out cancer. I requested some blood tests. Some is informal. Avoid using some. Try to use additional. So further or additional, you can use it instead of some. Abdominal examination revealed a small right groin swelling that's consistent with inguinal hernia. Okay, that's the mistake is here. Contraction. What the meaning of contraction? Contraction يعني اختصار. And in the writing part, you should avoid any type of contractions. Okay, avoid any contractions in your writing. ما ينفعش أكتب اختصار. You should use or you have used the full expression. Okay, abdominal examination revealed a small white growing swelling that is consistent with inguinal hernia. So you have to use that is, not that. Another example, thank you for your expert care, and please don't hesitate to contact us if you require further information. The same mistake, don't, contraction, and you should avoid contractions as I told you. So you have to use the full expression, do not, do not, do not. Okay. In addition, she's just able to tolerate fluid. In addition, she's just only, as just is informal expression, and you have to use only instead of just informal, and you have to use formal expressions. Okay, so that's all. If you have any question, please open your mic.